welcome back to the Field Podcast. I'm your host, Eric.
And I'm co-host Scott.
And today we're going over chapters 21 through 25 of Labyrinth Arcanist. Before we get into today's episode, do also want to remind everybody about the Fifth Chronicles wiki link that is in the link description down below, along with the Capital Station Discord server, so that way you can go in and join in on the fun. I know we should be having some books being released by Shami here sometime in the near-ish future. I know a superhero called Doberman is coming out. We have One Fifth Dragon, and hopefully here soon we get an announcement of when the final book of this series is announced. With that, we'll get into today's section.
Chapter 21, the Kappa Arcanist Returns. Once they get to the island, they're getting off the boat, and none other than Daddy Kross is waiting for them. There's a nice little confrontation between him and Lucian sort of calls him out as being a paper pusher and not really actually fighting during the Plague Wars, which I do think is kind of funny. Surprise, surprise, the Archduke doesn't believe in the Elder Creatures, doesn't really believe the whole Abyssal Hells thing. He thinks it's kind of made up. He seems like he's kind of a skeptic for anything that doesn't benefit himself, so no surprise there on his thoughts. As Gray's getting off the boat, he does recognize one of the deckhands, and he realizes it's the Kappa Arcanist from the cult. So he kind of scoots off to the side, and he's speaking to her, and she goes on about really just wanting to speak to her son in the Hells and make sure that her son is okay.
I want to give her sympathy, but at the same time, the trial of worth for the Kappa is to sacrifice her firstborn, so...
It's like, it sounds good, and then you realize it's like, but it's kind of your fault. Like...
She caused this situation to happen to begin with. And in chapter 22, the Kross Family Compound, Gray is going to tell Exie one of Soren's poems about true love in exchange for covering for Rosella, and basically having Exie say that Rosella is a distant cousin. I love that Gray also thinks that there's like several dozen love poems that Soren has, so it's kind of that. I have a feeling that I believe that Exie realistically does not care about true power, getting her true form. I think she's more interested in finding true love than becoming a true form Earl King Arcanist.
I would agree with that. There hasn't been anything that kind of inspires that. She's always been focused on Soren, and it seems like if you were really trying to get your three loves, you might be dropping hints elsewhere and seeing if maybe somebody else wants to pick up on the breadcrumbs.
I feel like she would be more efficient with this and trying to game the game and, work on all three at the same time. We have Lucian that recognizes the Kappa Arcanist, and there's a comment that is made about he knows how Kappa Arcanists can swim just fine, unlike their children. Damn, shots fired!
Love Lucian's just recklessness in this little series of chapters.
Like, he has no problem causing any kind of drama whatsoever. And then basically, what is the rest of the gang does not know what the trial of worth for a Kappa is, and it's kind of awkward for everybody else, I think, because I feel like there's a lot of looking around on not understanding what he meant with that and not understanding their trial of worth. So there's that awkwardness of she knows exactly what he's saying, and
there's
the question of why.
Yes, everyone else is looking for that bestiary, trying to figure out what is their trial of worth. Chapter 23 is Trusting Yourself. We are back in the perspective of Nini. She has been walking for what feels like forever, and coming back to haunt her are the Elder Stag and the Elder Basilisk. They repeat their offer for her to join them. And she realizes that when she's fighting them, she is able to get hits in, but the stag's healing takes over and they are recovering just way too fast for her to be able to do any sort of real damage. So she's only really putting herself at risk because she has no form of healing. Waste does recommend that the best way to handle this would be through an aura, because the Reaper aura would prevent them from healing. He also says they could run away. So kind of two options there.
Yeah, that's a solid plan.
At least you have a backup if it doesn't work.
And then in chapter 24, Ashlyn Kross. No matter how close we get to this wedding, I don't care about what is being said. I am anticipating something happening, somebody getting sucked off to somewhere. I don't care. We do find that Archduke Kross is not very happy about the situation. However, he is making things do, as he's accepted that Ashlyn is going to marry who she wants, and that is the end of it, and he just needs to accept it. Gray does kind of go sneaking around the night before the wedding, trying to find Ashlyn, and again, my like, something's gonna happen. This is gonna be where something happens, and he gets abducted or sent back to the abyssal hells, and he can't get married now.
Chapter 25 is the wedding gift. As he's sneaking around, he is using nightmare magic to get there, so one, it gives him the ability to shadow travel, which helps a lot, but it also does give him the ability to see in the dark, also very useful when you're sneaking around. He is able to find her room, so again, Gray has that magical thread that he can lock onto, so easy to track her down in this house. And he does find that her bed is just packed with stuffed animals. And maybe she has a Nicolaim plushie or a Luther plushie.
She probably does.
She's pretty embarrassed of this. I can see why. It does have a feeling of being slightly childish, but Gray's in full support of it, which I appreciate. And he's like, honestly, if it makes you happy, be happy. And that's all I really care about. And I think that's the right way to approach the situation. He does offer her a piece of Vivi. She declines, so again is kind of prioritizing him keeping his weapon in full power versus her getting her true form. And even though she's not accepting the gift, she does give him a pretty fancy gift as well. She gives him a drop of blood from the Corona Phoenix. That's worth something. Yeah, you can do some good in viewing with that one.
Just imagine we get Mother Shifters and we have that now. Like, ooh. But with that ends this week's sections of chapters 21 through 25 of Labyrinth Arcanist. Next week we'll pick back up at 26 through 30. And I think we're going to be moving into the, I'm going to air quotes, wedding, because again, I'm still on the I don't care what happens until they say the I do's. It's not happened. Like this entire book, I've been like, nope, it's not gonna happen until they say I do. But with that, we will end today's episode. Scott, do you have anything else you'd like to add today?
We'll see if they make it.